Oh, we are live. We are live. Hello, everybody. I'll be cracking on in just 2 seconds. I just want to make sure that we are definitely live in the right places because we're playing around a little bit, I have to admit. We are just going to quickly find the Pride and So website. It's all right, we're getting there. And then we can just share this across and we can get going. Wow. We've got a lot to cook tonight. So by all means, I don't mind if you don't stay for the whole of this video. But it is a fake away. So we're going for basically, instead of doing a takeaway, we don't have to worry about delivery drivers and all that stuff. Let's do it from home. Sounds easy, but it's a lot of work. I'm not going to lie to you. Hello, Helen, Molly, and Jana. Lovely to see you all. So we should probably get cracking because Dean will probably want to eat tonight before 7 o'clock. So the first thing we're going to do is start on the salt and pepper chicken. So in this bowl here, I've got half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of pepper, and half a teaspoon of Chinese 5 spices. And they're just going to mix those together and we'll leave it there for a second. What we're going to have to do now is get straight on with cutting some chicken up. So it's quite nice actually because I can get this chicken done and out of the way and just touch it again. We're going to cut these into nugget-sized pieces. Hopefully you can see my chicken all right. Try not to touch my laptop too much. And again, you just want these to be nice and uniform. Really. Ugh. I was in Sainsbury's today and I could not get over how busy it was. It's the first time I've been to a proper supermarket because I've been avoiding it so much. I've been a couple of times, but this is the worst I've seen it, honestly. Right, and then with these lumps of chicken, all you're going to have to do is throw those into your bowl, which has the small spice mix. And don't worry, I know it seems like there's hardly any spice there per chicken, but we're going to add a bit more to this as well. And we're just going to mix in everything. So everything's got a nice little coating of the salt, pepper, and blah, blah, blah. And then all you're going to do is grab a quarter of a cup of corn flour, so this much, throw it into that chicken as well, and get that coated. And make a mess because corn flour goes flipping everywhere. And now, what's happening in the comments? Molly is saying that Jana will love this. I hope so. Something I've really missed, so it's a nice, easy recipe. But this is what your chicken's going to look like. It's never going to look the same as a Chinese-style chicken. And normally they'd use egg and all this sort of stuff, but I'm trying to keep this a little bit low-calorie. So I'm not going too crazy. I'm just going to get rid of everything that's just touched that chicken so that we're nice and sterile. Oh, sun titles. I assume that the subtitles are on again. I've got no idea how to switch those off. It's really bad. Just wash my hands and then I'll be straight back with you all. Sorry. As they say, my GoPro isn't quite suitable for cooking. Right. So that chicken is out the way now. Hi, Jana. And what we're going to do is we're going to throw that chicken into the air fryer in a bit later. But now we've done that, we're going to turn on our hot water ready for the rice. We get this hot water up to a boil, and then we've got about 30 minutes from when the rice goes in. So just keep an eye on that. Oh, off to work. I'm sorry to hear that, Yana. It's nobody wants to be working on a bank holiday bank holiday Saturday, bank holiday Monday, do they? But hi B, lovely to see you. So what we're now going to do is we're just going to crack on with the rest of the ingredients for this chicken. We'll just go down here. So we're going to start with 4 spring onions. We're going to top and tail these babies. And then I just pull the first layer of skin off them because it saves us washing it and it's a bit more hygienic. Nothing like a bit of tone pressure to get you moving, is there really? Right, there we go. Lovely jubbly. So now these have all been peeled, we're just going to slice these nice and finely. These are going to be fried off, which we don't normally do with a spring onion, but for an Asian dish we do. Okay, you can sit that just here nicely. Just move these skins. And now we're going to want some mixed peppers. So we're going to want one. Wow, that's huge. We're going to have 1 red and 1 green. These are more my size. Just pick that one up. And now we're leaving the seeds in these. We're just going to slice the tops off like so. Slice it down the middle. And then we're just going to cut that up like so. Not too small. But obviously you don't want a full just mouthful of chili, do you? So. And then we've got 2 cloves of garlic. Now with these cloves, we're actually going to slice them. We're not going to mash or anything like that. So we're just going to top and tail them. Take the skin off. It's really difficult to do. I spend so long fumbling around with the skin. If anyone knows any life hacks to get the skin off of garlic, please let me know because it would love to save my fingers. So as I say, we're just going to slice these into nice, thin slices, like so. And then the same again. And then this can just get popped in a plate or a bowl for the time being. Go. Lovely stuff. And for the time being, that's all we're going to do for the salt and pepper chicken. So, hi Andrew, hope you're doing well. We are now going to get on with our teriyaki. It's the teriyaki beef. I think I might have accidentally put chicken, but it's beef. So what we're going to do is start by making the sauce for this. So grab that yourself out of a bowl. And in this bowl, we're going to be combining some dark soy sauce, which I haven't actually opened yet. we go. You're going to want about, just looking through my recipe. Where is it? That's a knife. A quarter of a cup. We'll grab out this cup again. So I prefer to be using low sodium soy sauce, if I'm honest with you, but I didn't have any in the shop. And then we're going to also add some apple cider vinegar. I'm just going to give a quick mix up. You're going to want roughly 3 tablespoons of that. Teaspoon. And a tablespoon of toasted sesame seed oil. And you can just throw all of that in there for a second. Lovely. I'm just quickly checking my recipes for how long I'm actually cooking. Cool. So our rice water is now up to a boil. So what we're going to do is throw our rice straight into that water. That's what I was looking for. Andrew, I'm glad you're doing okay. And yes, I've totally been busy for this lockdown, if I'm completely honest with you. I've kept myself as busy as I can to get my mind off everything else that I'm doing, which is probably the best way to be acting at the moment. So I'm going to go with about a cup of rice. So we've got a lot else going on, and it will be a special fried rice. So a cup is about right. Now, Tracy has a fantastic tip for me, which I'm definitely going to try next time I cook, which is to place the flat side of a knife on the clove and push down firmly. So that's what I'm going to be doing next time. I definitely am so fed up of fiddling around. So thank you for that fantastic advice. Our rice is in, and that's going to take about half an hour now to cook. So we'll leave that cooking. And what we're going to do is crack on preparing our beef. So what else do we need to do? We've got our sauce prepared, and now we are going to get some veggies chopped up. So we've got a pepper, we've got 2 more cloves of garlic, 3 even, which I can now chop properly, and 2 spring onions. So no doubt you're looking at me from the wrong angle. So we'll start off with our garlic, because I'm now really excited to get this going. Oh, someone's screaming outside. Sorry, just being completely nosy, making sure that everything's okay, but I can't hear anything else, so we're just gonna... Oh, it's an electric power tool. I think that was pretty firm, and it did the job. So props to Tracy there. You've just saved me hours of fiddling with cloves. We're not going to bother with that second piece, actually. What I am going to do is grab out my garlic press, which I've lost. It's in here. Oh, maybe there's a head for it. Right, throw the garlic in. I'm just going to press that through quick. Okay, so that's some garlic done nicely. We're going to chop out some peppers into nice bite-sized chunks as well. So again, the more uniform you can get these, the better, really. That way it all cooks off at about the same time, and you're not going to have one big raw bit and one little bit. So. Now, what I would actually normally use if I was doing teriyaki is some sandwich steaks, and I'd cut those into what's it called? Into slices. But when I was in the supermarket earlier, they had some cheap cubed beef going, so I decided just to grab that instead. Just seemed a lot cheaper as it was going out of date, and I don't hate being wasteful, so I thought, well, do you know what? That'll do. Save some pennies. And I should just also add that I'm not going to be eating all of this tonight. We're trying this thing where we cook our dinner for our lunches for the week on normally it would be on a Sunday, but instead it's going to be just a bit this week on a Monday. So I'm going to have this sort of stuff thrown in some salad and stuff like that, which is going to be a lot nicer than what I've been eating, which is just boiled egg salads and stuff. How are we doing? Cool. Just keeping my eyes peeled for everything we've got going on. There's a fair amount going on here. I just don't want to run out of time. We'll grab some of our broccoli. So I've got purple sprouting broccoli. I just seem to prefer it. I'm not quite sure why. But it's a lot easier. And then what we're going to do is cut this relatively diagonally, so you end up with a couple of slices like that. You don't want small mouthfuls of this broccoli. We want we're also going to not cook this too much. I want it to have quite a nice bite to it because it contrasts the squishiness of the squishiness. That's such an unattractive way to describe food. The chewy of the beef. Head's a bit everywhere when it's warm, you know. Lovely. So, just looking at the time, what we're going to do now is start on go back, I should say, to the chicken. Nothing like flip-flopping around, is there? So we're going to put I'm going to use an air fryer. You could deep fry these if you wanted to. But we're going to get our air fryer onto the highest possible heat, and we're just going to wait for this to warm up. It doesn't take very long to warm an air fryer up, so no stress. And once we do this, we're just going to move these veggies just prepared onto a separate plate as well. We've also got some seaweed to do. Worth noting that I'm not going to cook these spring onions as much as the rest of the veg, so I'm going to try and keep them separate on this plate the best I can. But preparing so much different stuff, it's not going to be too easy, is it? Chuck that over there nicely, and this garlic is going to go separately as well. Just going to move it away so you've got a nice clear chopping board again. So we're going to start on the seaweed, just to keep everyone as busy as we can, you know. Blimey. Grab out a fair amount, and what we're going to have to do is start by picking through what you've got if you've bought the pre-cut, or if you've not, just use your knife to cut out any of these big stems. If you've got a leaf that's got quite a big stem on, rip the stem off as well. And I have to be honest with you, up until this year, I had no idea what Chinese seaweed was actually made of. It's quite interesting to me that you can make it out of kale. No idea if that's what it's actually made of, but it works pretty much the same. So there we have it. Right. So this is all nice and ready to be chopped. And all we're going to do is just work our way through this kale, chopping it up a bit smaller. I'm never going to chop mine as small as you'd get it from a Chinese restaurant because I just don't have the time and patience. But don't let that stop you. If you want to, go ahead. I really don't enjoy kale usually. This is pretty much the only exception. Grab out a nice non-slip baking tray and dump all of this kale onto it. There we go. We're gonna then sprinkle some sugar over the top. And a bit of Chinese 5 spice as well. A fair amount of salt. And then some sesame oil. And then just toss everything you've got here. And this will be ready to go for about 15 minutes on a heat of 200 Celsius, or at least that's what I've got my fan oven to. But what you're going to have to do is just check this constantly whilst it's cooking, because it totally is down to the size of the leaf, how big you've cut it, all that stuff. So don't let it burn is the advice. Would you believe with anything that you cook? Don't let it burn. So this we can now set to one side. And I'm happy that my air fryer is now going to be at the right temperature. So we're just going to grab our chicken and pop those straight into the pan, not touching. But they can be relatively close. You can do a couple of batches if you really need to. Looks like I might. You know, we can pretty much get all of these in. So I'm going to stack a couple. I'm going to break my own rules. Why not? Call me Dominic Cumming. And these are going to go in the air fryer for about 8 to 10 minutes. Keep an eye on them. Keep them moving as well as they cook. I'm just going to wash my hands again because I've just touched chicken. Honestly, all the coronavirus jokes I could make. We were running out of hand soap. I couldn't find any, so I'm keeping my eye, on the time of what we've got. So we've got about 20 minutes until we're going to have this rice ready. So really, we need to start thinking about cooking our teriyaki beef as well. Always wanted to make crispy seaweed. Yeah, it was actually a Gusto recipe that taught me how. No idea, like, whether it's great, but it seems to work all right. It makes nice kale crisps anyway as well. So now what I've also got here, because I'm a bit of a cheat, is some more teriyaki sauce, which I'm just going to top up my pre-made sauce with. And the reason I'm doing that is because the bottled sauce just doesn't ever taste quite right for me. I always think it needs a little bit more. So that is my little bit more. What we're also going to do now is get our pan heated over a relatively low heat. So we can start to get cooking, which is nice and exciting. So let me check where I am. I'm on the wrong recipe. That always helps. Right, cool. I know where we are again. That's always helpful. Yana is now watching from work. So, hello, National Rail, from one of the Pride and Surrey kitchens. I'm glad you waved to me. I definitely waved back. Right, so this pan is just starting to get nice and warm now. I'm just going to throw some fry light in this. I will be re-angling the camera in a sec. Oh, it's a good idea. Whack the camera on. Really adds to your angles. There we go. Right, so as this pan starts to heat up, it's getting there. We're going to start by throwing off our beef. Worth noting that this doesn't need to cook all the way through because it's beef. We're just going to brown all the sides off first. So turn the heat up a tad, actually. So about a medium heat. And then we use our trusty spoon gifted by Molly and Yana to break all your lumps up. Just keep this moving nicely. Okay. Checking my chicken, giving it a bit of a move around. It's starting to get there, not quite there yet though. Oh, I will definitely, after lockdown, I'll make a big bowl of air fried chips for anyone that wants them. In fact, I can leave them outside my doorstep and some socially distant fries. Now, if this was cooking authentically, you'd have this in a wok and it would cook a lot quicker. Unfortunately, don't have a wok. Used to, but we don't know where it went, if I'm honest with you. I think when I moved from Reading, I lost it. I used to have a wok 2 years ago. Right, it's coming up 6 o'clock, so we will soon be popping our seaweed in the oven amongst everything else. I'm just going to turn that heat up a little bit more. I'm very impatient. Oh, blimey, it's very warm to be cooking this Asian food as well. I don't know how they do it. I'm going to turn this heat up a bit more because I'm impatient. Just going to check on this rice actually as well. So I'm careful never to overwater my rice because I want it to go quite sticky when it starts to be cooked off. But I have a tendency to underwater it as well, but it looks like we're about fine. Unfortunately, it's brown rice, so it's never going to be as sticky as you want. Just another way that I'm trying to be a little more healthy with my cooking, though. Now, I said this a couple of times, but if anyone's watching and you're thinking, blimey, I could do a lot better than this geezer, do let me know, because we are looking for people who could join us on our cook-alongs. We do them most nights, actually, and anyone's welcome to get involved as long as you feel up to it. No pressure, of course. You can. I'm sure you can see all of this rubbish here. It's because we got back from the shop and literally had to just dump it. But it will be clean later, I promise. But yeah, as I was saying, if you want to get involved, please do. It'd be great to have a couple new people cooking along with us. So we're welcoming people who you could be a good chef, you could be a rubbish chef, but you want to entertain people for an evening. Do come on. You could cook anything you want as well. It doesn't have to be this complicated. I should say time consuming. But anyway, back down to the interesting things, eh? Would hope the heat is coming out still. In fact, you know what we're going to do? We're just going to bring this forwards. There we go. Now our chicken, by the way, is coming along nicely. Still not quite there, but slowly but surely it's taking its colour and getting a bit crispy. So that's what we wanted. Just keeping on the rice. And I'll pop a little more water in my rice actually. Now then, as this beef is pretty much there or thereabouts, I'm going to throw my garlic into the pan as well. Just stir this garlic through. Gosh, I get so impatient with cooking. This should have been, do you know what? If I was using Just Eat, it would have been ordered and delivered by now. But that's fun, isn't it? It's all fun and games, really. Right, so now the garlic's gone in nicely, I'm going to throw in my peppers and broccoli as well. Thank you. I hope it is looking good. I absolutely love Chinese food. It'd be disappointing if I did them a dissatisfaction by cooking a rubbish meal, wouldn't it? Great. So as that now cooks off, this is the teriyaki sauce that we made earlier. What we're going to do is I don't want to put too much of the sugar too much in at once because you want them to flavors to combine. And it sounds a lot of things to say in English. Okay, so what we're going to do is throw in a couple of pinches of sugar into our teriyaki sauce. And then stir that up and you can give that a nice little taste test to make sure that you're happy with it. You could throw some ginger in this as well if you wanted to, but not my thing really. Right, so it's time conscious. It's about 10 minutes until our rice is done. So I'm now going to throw my seaweed into the oven. And that's going to get going too. So we've got a few things happening at once here. Nice and busy, eh? Right, this can now go back on a lower heat. Just to warm up. Now with your sauce, you can add a couple of tablespoons of water, so roughly three. And then you're just going to pour this over the top of everything. And just mix it all together. And what you've got now is you've got quite a wet sauce. So we're just going to leave this cooking now, simmering over a heat until it thickens up nicely. The sugar should start to caramelize it a little bit as well. So. Fabulous. Now our chicken is looking like this. I'm just going to cut one of these open to see whether we're cooked or not. Going to need a little longer, but not a lot at all. So that's all good. We're keeping within our time restraints. So what we're going to do is just keep that cooking. Bucking up a real sweat here. We're going to grab our mixed vegetables for the chicken now. Which is all sat here nicely. We're going to grab another frying pan. Barely fit them all on my cooker. Very awkwardly balanced, but that's fine. We're going to throw a fair amount of oil into this. So we're actually looking to flavour the oil as much as we are to cook these items off. And you want to get that nice and warm. Our beef is still cooking away nicely, as is our rice, which is fabulous. What time am I serving? I don't know when I'm flipping serving. Oh my goodness. As I say, this is about a week's lunches I'm making here on top of dinner for tonight. So, right, so all of our... So these are just going to go in here and they're just going to fry off. Nice and briefly. We're not going to spend ages cooking these. They're actually going to go back into the plate in just a second. So... Oh, lovely. Molly's in the garden planting cucumbers. It's exactly what I'd love to have in my garden at the moment, actually. Need to cook some more vegetables next year. Sorry, the chili and garlic is really catching my throat. Right. As I say, that is cooked as much as I want it to be done now. So I'm going to just... take this off. And this is all just going to go back on the plate it was on. Cool. So oh, B, I could really do with some tasty snack recipes, actually. So, by all means, give us a shout with that. Now, rice has got 5 minutes left, so I'm just going to go and grab some frozen veggies from the freezer. I'll be back in 2 seconds. So we're just going to dump a handful of these, maybe a little bit more actually, okay, into that rice, mix it up. You might need a bit more water in it. And then just leave that to cook for the last sort of 5 minutes. Our teriyaki beef is coming along nicely as well. Now chicken is actually good to come out. So it looks like this. It's a little bit floury. but I will show you how we finish that off properly. So. Oh, we can turn that air fryer off. I'm going to take this off because the vegetables on top of this is quite spicy actually, and I don't think Dean will be very happy with me. I'm going to try one. Lovely. Right. Teriyaki we can now put back onto a nice high heat. Because we are literally just waiting on this sauce to thicken up now, okay? I'm also going to do is give my seaweed a bit of a stir. Don't worry, it's my oven smoking, not the seaweed. The seaweed looks a bit like that now, so it's getting nice and dark and crispy. Probably doesn't need much longer, so actually 5 minutes was more than enough. Yep, that's air fried chicken. It's basically a chicken nugget, but you've got no oil in that, so it just makes it a little bit healthier. I'm just going to give this bit of a taste as well, make sure we don't need any more salt or anything. No, we're good to go with that. Just thickening the sauce up. In fact, it needs a bit more salt over the top of that. Right, so my rice is actually not completely cooked yet. Okay, maybe not Chinese teriyaki, yeah. Fair point. Oh dear, probably should have thought that one through, shouldn't I? Right, so the rice is pretty much there or thereabouts. So all we're going to do is take it off and drain that out. There shouldn't actually be any water left in your pan, so mine was pretty much there. And this pan is now going to go back onto the heat. We're just going to warm this oil back up. We're going to grab out an egg. Oops, daisy. There's the spoon here. Now with a spoon, we're just going to keep this egg moving so it gets nice and... Yeah, do you know, didn't even think about it. It's just when I go to Chinese, I get teriyaki chicken. So my bad there. Right, so the egg is nice and scrambled for this rice. Just gonna throw the rice in. A couple of splashes of soy sauce. And some sesame oil there as well. All I'm going to do now is just throw this back in the pan so that I can get this frying pan back and turn the heat off. We're getting to a place we can start to dish up now, so Good news. Right, so this is over a low heat. I'm just going to put a couple of sprays of fry light in there. Throw my semi-fried veggies off in there. And then, although it shouldn't be that much cooler yet, we're just going to throw our chicken back in there too. And what this is actually also doing is it's going to turn the chicken less of a floury colour, just because we're actually getting some colour on it now with the oil and flavours. Same breath, just so that we can finish off our teriyaki, Japanese teriyaki, we're going to throw our spring onions in there too. I think we're going to be helping Dean cook up, wash up tonight. Blimey, it's a lot. All of these are nice, final mixed together. Blimey, you might be enjoying the extended cook along, Molly, but I am knackered. Honestly, who would have funked it? Right, plates out. We'll go back over this side for the dishing up. Heat off on everything. Pick that oven open. Start with a bit of rice there on both. Probably too much. Okay. I'm just going to pick some bits out. I haven't got any. Bit left in there. I wish I could throw the washing up in the air fryer. And then our teriyaki. Let's use a proper spoon. Now the seaweed, which, have to be honest, I forgot about. You just get thrown. And the edge. And voila, that is done. I have worked up a total sweat. It is too hot to be cooking this much food. I'm going to go and dunk my head in the bath, I think. So thank you all for watching. Have a lovely evening. If you have any questions or if you want any of the ingredients that I've used in this recipe, do just give me a shout. Good night, everybody. Thank you very much.